Big day. Big day. Yep. Big day. Today's the day that I finally answer the question that I've had for myself, that I know everybody else has also had. Can you, will you, is it possible to get some pretty professional, impressive looking shine out of Spray.Bike spray can, rattle can paint jobs? I'm feeling very optimistic about the results that we're going to get. Purely based on the resulting finish of spraying out of the can and the way it sits right now, and the little bit of wet sanding that I've already done on the front to fix some embarrassing runs that happened when I sprayed the clear coat. The process for today is going to be really simple and really boring, but I think the results will be interesting. So here's what the frame looks like now. I'm like pretty happy already with how the frame looks, which means that the work we're about to put in is really gonna kind of bring it to the next level. So definitely not my intention for this to be a how-to in any way, shape, or form, but I will share what I'm gonna use a little bit. I thought I had some 2000 grit, but I don't. So I'm gonna wet sand 800, 1000, 1500 grit to like just level out any of the imperfections that are left in this frame after doing a little bit of wet sanding with some 600. From there, when everything's clean, we'll go to rubbing compound with a random orbital sander and polishing pad. That'll be the step after 1500. Typically you do like a 2000 grit or like even like go up to a 3000 grit. I don't have any, so I'm not going to. After the rubbing compound, gonna go to the pure polish. The difference from the 1500 grit wet sand to this is going to be like unreal. From the rubbing compound to the polish is gonna be less noticeable, and then the wax is gonna be less noticeable again. The wax is really just like a protective coating. But in the end, with all of it, it's gonna look, wow. I'm kind of too antsy to keep talking. So I'm gonna go soak some sandpaper, and I'm just gonna get to work. I don't anticipate talking a whole lot more. I apologize. Not my normal vlog self. Too excited for the final product of this. Wet sanding done. This seems like a good time to check in. So I'll just bring it from out there where I'm working on it to here. We'll look at it and then I'll take it back out for Monsieur rubbing compound. This is my favorite part. This is the part where everything comes back. This little mat. So obviously, as I'm hoping you can see through the video, a lot of that like initial shine, it's gone. And it definitely looks a lot more like scuffed and dull now. But what we have is a very smooth, completely even surface, almost at every spot on the bike. There's spots that it's like a little bit hard to get into, or spots where I didn't want to sand too much because we've only got one can of clear on here. Doing this now, I'm like, maybe 2 cans would have been good. Neither here nor there. We're still gonna get a really good shiny finish out of this. If you could feel the difference between how this feels now and the way it did before we wet sanded, you'd be like, oh, okay. I see that it's all an equal level. So now that you can see what it looks like kind of after wet sanding, which kind of the first time you do it gives you a little bit of pause and you're like, what did I do? It's ruined. It's this next step. It's the difference between this and the rubbing compound that you'll be like, okay, all right, it makes sense. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that now. So yeah, just like in the other videos where I've polished bikes, turtle wax rubbing compound, this Mastercraft random orbital sander, and polishing pads, which I didn't buy a new one of. I'm just gonna reuse the old one. Oh, weird, we're out here again. Pretty wild difference, eh? This is pretty good. This turned out, well, if I'm honest, this turned out kind of like exactly as I expected it to. Not worse, not better. The quality of work and finish is like right there, right where I would expect it to be for my level of experience. The amount of times that I've done this start to finish, and the materials used. That being said, I'm impressed. Surprisingly, I seem to have like burned through the clear coat in one way or another. If I can get some light on it. Can you see that the top of the tube just has no clear coat on it, and just beside it is very shiny with clear coat? I don't understand. I don't know how that happened. I was very, very diligent about putting clear coat very heavily on the top tube, down tube, head tube, seat tube, and then I was like significantly less liberal with the rear triangle. And I don't know if I just spent too much time sitting here like wet sanding the top like this and being like, oh, I have to go somewhere else. But I definitely burned through the clear coat that I had laid down right on the top tube, which was like totally not where I would have wanted that to happen. What else? I think I burned through some clear coat on the bottom here as well. Not as much of a big deal. All of the drips, those are all gone. Like this side, when I first finished the clear coat, I was like, oh man, I'm never, ever gonna be able to fix that. And it does not look like there was any runs there ever. So I'm really glad that worked out. Oh, also, the paint is still not hard at all. And I went to go polish down at the bottom bracket area a bit, and it actually smudged the paint. It's been sitting for 48-ish hours, and still with ultimately, end of the day, pretty satisfied with the results for the work, the effort, the experience done. This thing is gonna look good built up. To do it again, which at some point I will, 2 cans of clear coat to just really get everything covered and really give me some of that insurance for when it comes to wet sanding, so that I'm definitely not gonna burn through and get to the base coat. Besides that, same process over and over and over again. I guess you just keep getting better and better and better at it. Okay, next vlog, we're definitely going riding.